and the Portland Fire are back, baby.
But I think living here for the last 3 years and being able to experience that launch event really did make me feel very prideful to be living in this city.
We always like to say this is the epicenter of women's sports.
But at the same time, they're making really good money.
This show is all about dedicating storytelling and energy around multidimensional women in sports.
If I tried or attempted that, I would throw my back out.
We are back with season 2. It's Lauren Duletsky.
And I'm Jackie G.
And this is the Clack Podcast. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Shake what your mama gave you.
I can't.
What a way to start the episode.
I know. Shake it all off.
Just a little shake. I feel like we've been dancing and partying for the last week.
Maybe you have. I've been shimmying my way through All-Star Weekend, that's for sure.
And we're for sure going to talk about that. But Welcome back, Clackers. We're so happy to have you here.
So happy to have you here.
Make sure to, if you're not part of our fan club or our community, as we like to say, make sure you subscribe to all our channels, our YouTube, our Instagram. Send us, a message by carrier pigeon if you want.
So easy,
It's really easy. Maybe not the pigeon part. You guys, today is going to be a episode where Jack and I are just going to talk. We don't have any guests. We've had some really big events the last couple weeks, and we want to break it down for everybody. There's just a lot going on. So we're going to keep it on the W this week, right, Jack?
Yep. I think that's a comfortable place to be right now, considering, like you said, everything that's going on.
But there's going to be a lot more other women's sports we're going to cover. We do want to make sure we commit to that.
Yes.
But let's talk WNBA.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So we're going to do the drip today. We're going to talk about 3 topics.
Yes, we are.
We're going to talk about the launch of the Portland Fire.
Mic drop.
We're going to talk about All-Star Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie went. So we're going to get a little behind BTS of Jackie's experience and my FOMO. And the third is, I think there's a much bigger discussion happening right now around pay equity in the league.
Yeah.
With CBA. We've covered on it on previous episodes, but man, it really came out full force at All-Star, and the conversation continues.
Yeah, it was definitely a movement, but I'll save my thoughts for later when we get there.
Let's just say we got a lot of trolls in the comments.
I mean, we love a good troll.
We love a troll.
We invite them.
Troll emoji, bring it. All right, so should we drop into our first topic?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Portland Fire event.
Yes.
So, little background for anybody who hasn't listened to our previous episodes. So the WNBA Portland franchise is one of the newest franchises coming to the WNBA. We had a team called the Portland Fire that was here from 2000 to 2002. The team dissolved. And the Portland Fire are back, baby.
Heck yeah, they are. They're back and swinging full force.
Friggin', I love a fire emoji, so I'm so here for the name.
It's one of my favorite, most used emojis by far.
Now it will be a double entendre in our lives.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it. But as many of you know, Jackie and I live in Portland, so we're going to talk a little bit about that launch event last week, because it was amazing. I mean, to be at an event where they launched the new brand and team for a team like the WNBA that's going to be here in Portland, like it was a core memory for me.
As it was me, and I think our position with Clack being how involved that we were, and I think you can speak to that a little bit more, was especially, extremely special and just a really cool position to be in for that launch. We were there as fans and, people that are supporting the new launch and the new brand, but also we were there for different reasons too, and I'd love for you to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had the great honor of working directly with the WNBA Portland team and the ownership, and Madam President Claire Hamill, to go out and capture the absolute incredible fandom and excitement of launching this WNBA brand for Portland and for the world in a more official capacity. So we got to actually be content creators there, interviewing fans, collaborating with the W1 posts on Instagram. I mean, truly, like, dream lived.
Yeah. It was really amazing. The Tiny Mike interviews, I feel like they do so well because we can really get in the minds of all these fans and what they're thinking. And then even just, like, the tattoo bus situation, like, that was just such a cool experience to see how just committed these fans are to the city, and just like actually getting like rose tattoos on their body, like officially marked. It's just a really, really amazing thing. And then I love the question around the Together t-shirt. I thought that was a really, great question that we posed to people, and we got a lot of great content out of that.
Full of, like, I have full body chills right now
Same.
because that's been our dream since the beginning. And I think that there's just a lot more storytelling and energy to come around what we can do with them and for them to really help make this the most distinctive franchise in the league.
Yeah, just like sitting back and watching you talk about that, it really is amazing because you see things and you watch things unfold and you talk about them months ago, and like this was something that we had talked about. We wanted to get our foot in the door here with the new team. How are we going to do that? How are we going to make, our way into talking to the right people to help us make that happen? And I think that um, fast forward and now that we're here and we were able to have that opportunity, we're just like touching the surface and there's going to be so much more amazing things to come. But I think like let's just really think about that and just enjoy that experience because it's something that we wanted and we got it. And now it's like let's really celebrate that. So I'm proud of us. I'm proud of everything that we've done and accomplished. Um, but back to the actual event and the launch, for me, I'm not from Portland, but I think living here for the last 3 years and being able to experience that launch event and the power that that event had and just the energy behind it and us being so front facing in it really did make me feel very prideful to be living in this city and being a part of something so special and so new and something that is bringing the community together and it's bringing young girls together. And it was just so much to take in. And I felt so proud to be a Portlandian.
Yes.
So,
We've converted her, you all,
yeah, no, I'm
everybody.
fully converted. I'm here for it. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. It was such an exciting experience.
And let's just paint a quick picture for everybody. It was a 96-degree day at the Moda Center
Sure
on
was.
pavement, and we're trying to create all this content. Our phones are overheating. We're like, what the fuck are we going to
Our
do?
backs are
Our
sweating.
backs are sweating. There is easily 22,000 to 5,000 fans there. I'm
Yeah.
like, imagine if it hadn't been
Yeah.
96 degrees and middle of the day. But like when it comes to Portland, like people here truly live and breathe sports
Yeah.
and women's sports. Like we always like to say this is the epicenter of women's sports. It's just as a smaller market compared to like New York or San Francisco or even Seattle, like it there is such a special fan here that will show up and show out, and like we saw that last Tuesday in an amazing way, and it just energized me so much as a business owner in this city that's creating content for the world that like we have a very special edge here.
I could not agree more. I think you said it perfectly. It reminds me a lot of the Bay Area and the Valkyries and what I was able to see there when I went to the game recently and just the community that is backing that team. They're just so supportive and so passionate and lots of young kids. And I think that for me was really great because now these young kids here in Portland, they get to have a team right in front of them. And that is a huge like that's a huge deal for parents and for kids to be able to have these role models right in their backyard. I was lucky enough when I was young. I had the Sacramento Monarchs. It was 30 minutes from me, and I always talk about Tisha Pinachero and all these players that I was able to look up to at such a young age. I was fortunate for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how impactful that could be for these young kids, and I'm just like so happy that there's a team here now.
Well, not to mention, I think something else that makes Portland so special is that we have over 80 former WNBA players here, like you, and former Olympians who can really help build the energy of this city and connect with the fans. I loved seeing all the kids coming in up and asking for your guys' autographs. And like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of you haven't played in years. And I hope that made you feel so special about the impact you've made on these girls, because to get the opportunity to meet an athlete who's played at the highest level it's a very special experience, whether you're a girl or a full ass grown adult like me.
Yeah.
And I think the more we can help the athletes feel close to the fans in a really authentic way, like that's what's going to make the Portland franchise extremely distinctive.
Yeah, I think you bring up such a great point. The access that these young kids have to former WNBA players here in Portland, it is the biggest edge that this franchise has over other franchises. You're not going to find another WNBA team that has 80 former WNBA players in the city, living in the city, being around the games, being available to mentor. So I think that it's just such an edge. And through the WIN program that Nike created, is just super impactful.
Literally so many core memories from that event, going to the sports bra at 3 a.m. for the Good Morning America segment, being like right next to Will Reeves. Hello, Will Reeves.
I know how
For
you
anybody
felt
that
about
doesn't,
him.
yeah, don't tell my husband. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. But no,
I
it
did have
was,
FOMO that after the fact that
I
you were there.
know.
So like
We
I
both had a
experienced
little
FOMO
FOMO.
too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
both had FOMO. And I just think that like I got to feel the energy from 3 a.m. to 7 p.m. more than I crashed after, but it was truly a dream of mine. And I feel like Click Clack being here in the city, building what we're building, I hope we can also be a conduit for global brands to come into Portland, for them to see the special part of Portland, to also connect with the community and be there for the community, because that's ultimately what's going to continue to grow these sports for girls and women.
Boom.
All right, we're going to move into the second topic, All-Star Weekend.
Whew, it's a big one.
It's a big one. But before we do, I would like everyone, and I'm sorry for our audio listeners, I'm going to describe this. Jacki surprised me because Mama had massive FOMO because I wasn't at All-Star.
I couldn't come back empty-handed,
She could not come back empty-handed, and she bought me these brand new Sabrina 2s.
Sure did. I didn't buy them. I actually got them. Caught
Either
them.
way.
Caught them, but made sure I thought of you and got your size.
I love them. And they are literally the definition of fire, in my opinion. I've always loved the Sab 2s. I think the silhouette is beautiful. It's one of my favorite footwear lines that we have. I mean, that and the Asia Wilson are my favorite. So I love you. Thank you for thinking of me. Here's a nice
You're
little
welcome.
shot, little soul shot.
I saw this small box of these Sabrina shoes, and there were two really small boxes, and I'm like, whose foot size is this tiny? And I'm like, oh, this is like meant to be. This is Lauren's shoe size. I'm grabbing this box, and
You're all not a hooper.
Yeah, it's not a hooper unless it's a young kid, but they are fire, and I wish they had a size 11 for me, but they didn't, so I grabbed you a pair.
Well, I love you so much.
Love
Okay,
you too.
let's pivot into All-Star and talk a little bit about it. So Mama was home with her kids watching the game. So I've got some questions for you. So, Jack, how did you feel like this All-Star stacked up to previous All-Stars you've been at?
This All-Star more than ever had more opportunities for players than I've seen in the past. I think this was my third All-Star. I was in Vegas and then Phoenix last year and then now Indy this year, and I think each year they've just gotten better and better with more opportunity for these women. There were so many brand activations. It's the WNBA Live space. The way each brand showed up at that space was incredible. Like their setup was unbelievable. And there was constant players that were coming in and out of W Live making appearances. So, Asia Wilson would leave, and then Brianna Stewart would arrive, and then Stewie would leave, and then Sab would arrive, and it was just like a revolving door of athletes that were coming in and out and in and out. I did feel bad for the athletes because I think that there's so many opportunities that they were just so packed. Their weekend was so packed and it was so full. And, there's more games that are played this year too. So more games in the same time frame. So they're more tired. And then, the small break that they do have for All-Star Weekend, like that, those 3 days are just packed full of stuff. So their league schedule, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is full on its own. But then you add these brand activations for them to get paid through brand deals. They have to do that in between their schedule. You're literally just plugging and playing into their schedules, and it's so overwhelming. And that was really hard to see athletes, maneuver through that because it was just very taxing on them. But at the same time, they're making really good money, and that is the flip side. And we're really happy for that. The actual all-star atmosphere, it was one of one. Like it was electrifying. The whole arena was completely full, all the way to the very top. It was just full. And the halftime show was epic. They brought in GloRilla, and she was amazing. There was so much energy around that. The players stayed and didn't go inside the locker room at halftime because they all stayed out there and just like had a little dance party on the floor. We were sitting in floor access, so we were kind of right in the middle of that, which was really cool. And it was just like a party, and it was a celebration. And yeah, I thought it was the best All-Star that I've ever been a part of, hands down.
That's amazing. Which brand do you think did the best activating there? I'm just curious.
I would say Coach. I think
Oh.
Coach has shown up since the beginning of their partnership with the league. They've done it in a really like high level type of way. I think that, from the storytelling to the content creation to the brand activations to product that they're giving these women, and the way they're dressing these women, it's just, it all came together in such a beautiful way. And their activation space was next level. It was so great. Their party that they threw on Friday night was literally epic. I mean, it was classy. It was just a great atmosphere to be in. I thought they did a really good job. Yeah, I would say coach.
I love that.
They gave out free coach bags too for people that came to the party. Like, that's not an easy like giveaway. I definitely grabbed myself a coach bag on the way out.
Go
Just
girl.
casual bag.
Why not? That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I just love seeing these women brands like we always talk about just coming out and really showing up and not just like putting money behind a player or like, which we need. We need these marketing deals. We need these women to make money, but also around the fan engagement. And like, and I remember seeing Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah. She's one of my favorite creators out in the sports space. She has Sports with Aaliyah. Go follow her. She's amazing. She posted when Coach did like a special drop for creators there of a Coach bag at her hotel room. And I was like,
cool.
I love that so much. Just there's like everything is in the details, and brands that really focus on those details, it matters.
For sure.
It matters and it translates.
What is, from your perspective, from seeing everything on TV, how do you feel All-Star went?
Yeah, I mean, I was just captivated by the whole weekend. It just looked incredible and is totally like a vibe, like
it's a vibe, definitely.
And I love a scene. I love a vibe, I love a scene. But I'll just paint you all a picture. So I watched on social media. During the game, I had my parents over. My parents never watch organized sports anymore, really. So it was really special to like bring everybody here to watch the game. My kids were there. And just like talking to my dad about basketball, and just it felt like very rooted in memories for me, like when I was young. I was talking to him about sports and and just like his old man perspective. Sorry, that was mean, but like it was just funny. Like I'm like educating him, on what's new and the why. And he's like, text Jacki, ask her about this question. I'm like, Dad, I'm not fucking texting Jacki right now about this.
If you text me, I wouldn't have got back to you until Monday. So
I was like, I'm like, leave it be. But it was just electric. I mean, it was absolutely took over my feeds. And I like to toggle between my personal page and my Clack page so we can obviously see the difference, but it was just everywhere.
Yeah.
It was pervasive in culture, and it was just so special for me to see all these women win and to show other skills and talents that they have beyond the game.
Yeah.
Like stud buds, can't not talk about them. Like literally, if I had
talk of All-Star.
Talk of All-Star, just like, and Sid Colson, her like stand up and like what a comedian she is. Like, again, like this show is all about dedicating storytelling and energy around multidimensional women in sports. And this was a display of that.
Yeah.
In every way, shape, or form. And I could see it on social, and I can't even imagine what it was like in person.
I couldn't agree more. And I think the reason why Stud Buds is popping off the way it is because Courtney and Natisha are being exactly who they are.
Yep.
They are not fabricating a single thing. They are themselves to the T and just going around from place to place live streaming.
Hilarious.
And they're not looking or reading from a script. It's just all like off the top of their heads, and they're just being who they are. And I think that's why they're really popping off right now.
Absolutely. That when Courtney came out on stage and like started like popping and dancing, I was like, I'm dead.
I know,
and
same.
Like literally
so
dropped
good.
the mic. It was so good. I made a TikTok video out of it. It has like 5,000 views. So good.
When I was watching her do that, I was like, if I tried or attempted that, I would throw my back out. Just the way she was like popping her back, I'm like, how is she doing that? Like, I would pull something.
I mean,
damn,
we all would. I fucked up my knee on my Peloton. I'm like, okay, it's official. I'm getting old.
Great.
But yeah, I mean, I just think they nailed it. Nailed it. And for anybody that is more new, I always like to acknowledge our newer fans to women's sports, because not everybody knows like what is the significance of All-Star, and these are all things I'm learning along this journey of building this brand around women's sports. And All-Star is an important moment in the mid part of the season where they come together and they celebrate kind of the greats of the league. We have an episode on it if you want to understand just how even the All-Stars are voted on and how they make these teams. But the one thing I would say, Jack, that threw me off, because I've watched previous games before, but I guess maybe not with the same eye that I'm watching now. Why don't they play harder?
The culture has been established around NBA All-Star being so relaxed and just kind of trotting down, not playing defense, shooting threes, maybe doing some crazy dunks here and there. And what I loved about last year's actual All-Star game was that All-Star played against USA, Team USA.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay. I
there was,
forgot about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was a different level of competition. For the USA team, there was more of a chip on their shoulder to make sure that, like, the quote unquote B team of the All Stars,
Mhm.
that they beat them. So there was just a different level of competition, which I think the fans appreciated more to actually watch the game. But then again, like, everyone that's there, they're true fans of these women, and they're not. Some of them might have something to say about the competition level and how they're not playing hard against each other, but a lot of them are there just to be in the presence of these women
Mhm.
and watch them laugh and goof around and have fun and just be in that space.
I mean, ultimately, like, it's a moment for these women to celebrate mid-season. It's a moment for them to celebrate the things that they love about the league
Yeah.
and each other.
I think it is a moment for them to kind of like take the pressure off a little bit and have some fun and not be so serious. And their schedules are so packed. It's like for the amount of things that they had to do leading up to that game on a Saturday and a Friday before that, like it's insane. So I'm glad that they were able to like just relax and have fun. Or it's like it is the midway point of the season and All Star is meant to be fun and a period for everyone to kind of be in one place and have some fun. And in the regular WNBA season, at the end of the season is when these players are going to be going head to head and playing their hearts out and playing for a championship. So I think, that is also important for our listeners to know that like All Star is not necessarily a place for, there to be this highest level of competition, but just also a fun place to be for these women.
I love it. I mean, we need to have fun too.
Yeah.
Okay, these women's bodies are already taxed to the max. Like we've already talked about that, and nobody talks about the fact
Right.
that like I'm so glad you bring up the athlete point of view because like I didn't even think about their schedules,
Yeah.
and
Insane.
it's it's a double-edged sword in some way. Yeah, but I mean overall, I absolutely loved it. It was such a great moment in the summer to see. I mean, I show up for the style and the stories. Like I absolutely just loved it, and I can't wait to see more of it. I can't wait to see where it's going to be in 5 years from now. So our next topic, and something we can't not talk about, which is going to be in a different tone than like the glitz and the glamour of All Star,
For sure.
is the pay equity. Big conversation right now between the league and the players.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so interesting for me as a fan to see all the glitz and the glamour and the storytelling and the buzz, but then see this like very distinctive tension that exists there.
Yeah.
And it being like the same weekend.
Right.
So just a little background for anybody who didn't see this on social, although it truly has been everywhere. In fact, Hillary Clinton weighed in and joined the chat today, which I
Damn.
was like, okay, we've broken through the cultural zeitgeist
Yeah,
when politicians
seriously.
start talking about this. But the players all came out wearing shirts while they were warming up for the game. And the shirt said, "Pay us what you owe us."
Yeah.
And that was a moment. So
For
talk
sure.
about that moment, Jacki, when you were there and you saw that.
Yeah, I mean, when we were just sitting there and we had no idea that they were going to come out in those t-shirts, and a couple interviews that I had saw after was even the players didn't really know that that was planned until that morning where everyone kind of got together and decided on the fact that they were going to wear these shirts. I think it was definitely a statement that got everyone's attention. I think the energy in the arena was just like I compare that moment to how I felt in the 2020 bubble season when all of us players got together in a room and were deciding on what we wanted to do moving forward with the league around COVID. And it was just like those that like give you chills type of moment. So it was really cool to be there to watch that and to watch the players just like right in front of the commissioner, right in front of all the league people, just like straight up pay us what you owe us, and like I think that you have a great perspective on that coming from corporate America. Like could you imagine walking into corporate America at Nike or wherever and wearing a t-shirt like that? That would be insane.
They would legitimately escort you out and you
Yeah.
would be fired quietly.
Right.
That's my sense. I mean, I don't know for sure, but yeah, I think for me, like that moment was so important for these women in sports and for so many reasons, right? Like obviously pay equity is a big issue generally, and people will argue, well, the NBA has been subsidizing the WNBA for years. Like argue all you want. It is not about, it's just like what they say when you hire people. You're not investing in what they can do now. You're investing in what they can do in the future.
Right.
And these athletes have brought in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars
Yeah.
for the league.
Yeah.
And it's just the beginning of that with
Yeah.
this energy around the league. And so it's about investing in the future.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I equate it to corporate America because to this day, and I talked about this on our social media, women still make 82 cents to the dollar that men make.
Yeah.
And that's not enough,
Right.
right? And women of color make even less than that.
Yeah.
And so to me, this moment was not just a rallying cry for women in sports, it was a rallying cry for women.
Love that.
And to me, that's where sports can truly have the biggest impact in the world.
Absolutely.
Because there's women sitting in their jobs today saying, I'm certain that my male counterpart gets paid more than me.
100%.
And it's like, why can't we have these conversations? Why aren't we challenging
Yeah.
our employers? Like, and it's a tricky space when you go to multi-million or billion-dollar companies,
Yeah.
right? But for these women, the bravery it took to stand up on this global stage and wear that shirt and the backlash that they are obviously getting, like
Yeah.
we're seeing it on our socials, can't even imagine what they're seeing on their socials. Like that takes some real guts and grit.
I couldn't agree more. And that's such a great point. Like that opens the door for so many different conversations in different areas. So you really have to just commend the WNBA and what they're doing and the players and putting themselves out there. Like you said, the bravery, huge. So I agree.
And I hope this is a rallying cry for younger girls or girls in college that are like, what do I want to do? What am I worth? Like, ask yourself those questions.
Mm-hmm.
How much am I worth? Because women, we give way too much away. I've done it for years.
Yeah.
Where I give way too much of myself, my worth, everything to this company that to companies that companies don't care about you guys, like they don't.
Yeah, no,
and as
for
much
sure.
as they tell you, they don't. And I know that might be a controversial thing to say, but they don't.
Yeah.
And women generally get very passionate and want to be part of the fabric of these places and give every part of us to these places. But just remember that like we have to fight harder for what we're worth.
Yeah.
And this is just one important global moment that reminds us of that.
Yeah, and I just think that there's just they're on two different pages. You know, you've got the commissioner and the league that are fighting to make the WNBA a profitable business. And then you have the players that want the earnings from the profit that they're making for the league. You know, so it's just you're on two very different sides. I do think everyone knows that there was a big CBA meeting that took place around All-Star during All-Star, and you know, I think it's not public news yet, but I do think like there are being they are making steps and progress. It might not be the progress that everybody wants right away, but I do think that there's positive steps that are being made. It's just a matter of like getting to a place where everyone feels good and comfortable.
And I think, Jack, you made a great point on our socials. So if you head over to our TikTok, there is a fiery conversation on our TikTok about Jacki's perspective on playing 10 years ago and just like how these women have to tax their bodies to even make a buck.
Yeah.
And would you just kind of quickly elaborate on that? Because I thought it was such an interesting point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that I had to do in order to make ends meet or make a sustainable career in being a basketball player was having to go from season to season and never being able to take more than 1 week off during the year in between seasons. And you know, you do that because you love what you do. And I was so passionate about being a basketball player, and I was going to do everything I could to continue to be able to play the game. But I think, you know, that was also a result in why I had 10 knee surgeries and why I was sidelined a lot of my careers because my body wasn't able to sustain that impact. And I wasn't able to put in the time necessary and the resources that I did have into, you know, my body and making sure that I was good for the next season. And then not to even mention the player development aspect. I never was able to work on my game, you know, during the years that I did play back to back in the ways that I needed to. And that's something that the NBA is fortunate enough to be able to have. They have the time in between seasons to invest in their bodies and get the rest and get the training that they need to be able to prepare themselves and build themselves back up for the next season. Um, Obviously, we're in just a very different category than them, and I think, you know, we're making progress and steps towards being able to have more of an off season. There's, like I mentioned in my video, there's Unrivaled, there's Athletes Unlimited that are stateside options for players to make just as much money as, you know, they would make if they went overseas, but for
Or
much
more, frankly.
yeah, for a much shorter period of time. So there's a lot that goes into that, and that could be for a different discussion. But if you really want to know more of my experience, you can refer back to our last culture episode where I really did a deep dive into my experience overseas and what that was like and how taxing that was on my body.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you guys, it is, if you are not paying attention to what's happening in the WNBA right now, then you're frankly living under a rock because maybe. But I think there's so many things you can learn about what's happening with this organization right now that you can apply to your life and your way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think about it. You know, obviously I've worked in sports, I was never a professional athlete, but like there is so much to take away here.
Yeah.
Inspiration, education, engagement, all those things. It's like it's a place where women are winning.
Yeah.
And like be part of that.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that.
That's great. I love that's a good way to end that
Yeah,
part of the conversation.
but we will be watching what happens with CBA discussions, and we'll talk about it more on our socials, on the pod, because I do think like this is a moment for women in equity in a big, big way.
I love that you said that. I could not agree more.
It's everybody's favorite time now. What time is it, Jack?
Slam dunks and air balls.
Let's go.
Let's start with air balls. I love to get those out of the way first. I'll quickly give mine. My air ball is I decided to give up sour candy for the love of my beautiful wife up until we leave for Greece, which is only until August 15th. That is a big deal for me because anyone who knows me knows that I live and breathe sour candy, and that's something that I eat like on a daily, and especially at nighttime when we're just chilling, watching TV, definitely my go-to snack. So,
is it like a Sour Patch candy or what are we talking
yeah,
about
I mean, it's an array of sour like options, but anything sour related is what I do. And
You
that's
and
just
Nick, my Nick, same
see,
thing.
like I'm obsessed. And for Carla, that like makes her feel bloated and makes her feel gross and like she never feels good after, and having it around the house, like she's formed a habit of liking it and craving it and wanting it also. And she wants to look good for our honeymoon in August. So I told her that I would take one for the team, and I will not eat that until August 15th. But as soon as August 15th hits, on my way to the airport, I'm going to have my little sour candies.
I will be sending you off with a big bag of watermelon Sour Patch.
Say less. Watermelon Sour Patch, so yummy. Oh.
That's a commitment. That's some love.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, you
some
do
love.
what you got to do for the love
Yeah.
of your people, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so my airball is, it's kind of a slam dunk and an airball, but let's just go airball because it's so negative. But we've been posting a lot about CBA, pay equity on our channels. And let's just say there is a ferocious discussion on TikTok. Lots of trolls in the comments, literally popping off. And I was talking to my husband about it, and he's like, let those trolls be trolling. I'm like, yeah, no, it's great. It's pushing the algorithm. It's great. But it's like the human side of me reads these comments, and it makes me feel so gross. And I'm like, fuck these people.
No, I know. Oh my God. Speaking of trolls, I remember our first troll and how like flustered you got over
So
that. Are you
flustered.
still getting flustered from trolls?
Not like as flustered, like I want to comment. I
Yeah.
mean, I did correct one of the trolls' grammar. That's like my soft way of
Yeah,
responding.
That's a good dig back.
But it's yeah, it definitely, it's yucky. But I don't get as like activated by it. I'm just like, push that algorithm.
For sure.
So, you know, that I guess that's my airball of the week, because I just, you know, I believe so deeply in these women and investing in these women, and I want society to stop hating women.
That's a legit airball. I'm here for it. I think it's great. That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your slam dunk?
Okay, moving on to slam dunks. I had one hell of a weekend at All-Star and just a lot of things. I was exhausted when I got back, and luckily yesterday I was able to get a little bit of R&R and shut off a little bit. I actually turned my phone off for 2 hours, and that was a big deal for me because it's not something that I ever get to do in my job. But I created that boundary for myself and took that time to be fully present in myself and not have any electronics around me, or not, you know, answering to emails or text messages. And it was great for my mental space, and I want to celebrate that.
I'm so proud of you. It is so hard to put your phone down. My husband's like, you're straight up addicted. I was like, I know.
Carla tells me that all the time.
It's so bad. So it's just something I feel like I want to take a little nod from that, and maybe shut off for a couple hours every day.
It helps. So even just 2 hours, it's nice. It's a good break and kind of resets you a little bit.
I love that. All right, so my slam dunk, just quickly, I mean, standing behind the president of the WNBA at Good Morning America, taping at the Sports Bra.
So good.
Literally core memory. But getting to be there as a fan and really see like the power of what a message like this can mean to the world, from Portland to the world, was just really special. And you could, I've gotten to know Claire better outside of Nike now that she's retired, and she is a woman that just stands up for women and women in sports.
Yeah.
And to have her, like, what an opportunity for her to be out of corporate America now and have this type of megaphone and voice to really usher in the next generation in a different way. Like, it was just really special. And so yeah, core memory for me. That was a huge slam dunk of the week.
I think that's the perfect slam dunk for you. I had massive FOMO after you told me about it and just seeing everything. And I was so happy for you that you were at the forefront of all of that. You deserve that. Everything that you've put into Click Clack and growing this business. It was very rewarding being able to see you right front and center there. So I can see why that was a big moment for you and your slam dunk for the week.
This was a real core week for our business and for our brand, and just want to thank all the listeners again, even if you've made it with us this far to the end of the episode. Jacki and I just love talking, and we appreciate you being here and hearing our point of view, and just so happy to have you in our community.
Could not agree more. We thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey with us. Hope you like the episode.
But before we go, Jacki, we have an insanely amazing guest coming on next week. Do you want to give everybody a hint?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it is a former NBA player, current legend, and it's gonna be a really good one. Super excited.
Let's just say he's a lot taller than me.
He's a lot taller than me too, so that's saying something.
All right, well, let's go get some snacks because we're hungry as fuck right now.
Per
Per usual, and we won't have any sour candies, but let's go get a little sustenance. We love you all.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.